November 24, 1971. Portland, Oregon. A man in a suit and tie, carrying only a briefcase, walked calmly into the airport. He bought a one-way ticket to Seattle under the name, Dan Cooper. Nobody knew that within a few hours, he would vanish into thin air and leave behind one of the greatest mysteries in American history. On board the Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305, Cooper looked like an ordinary businessman. But soon after takeoff, he handed a folded note to a flight attendant. At first, she thought it was just another man trying to flirt, but when she opened it, her face changed. The note said, "I have a bomb in my briefcase. Sit beside me." Inside the case, wires, red sticks, and a battery pack could be seen. The calm, polite man had just hijacked the plane. His demands were simple but shocking. $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck waiting in Seattle. The airline, fearing for the passengers, cooperated with every word. As the plane circled Seattle, law enforcement and the FBI scrambled on the ground. The cash was gathered, bundles of old $20 bills. 4 parachutes were rushed from a nearby skydiving school, and the plane finally landed. The passengers were released unharmed, but the crew was forced to stay on board. Cooper, now in control, ordered the plane to take off again, heading south towards Mexico City. He gave specific instructions. Keep the plane low at 10,000 feet, fly slowly, landing gear down, and rear staircase unlocked. It was clear he knew exactly what he was doing. The storm was raging outside. Darkness covered the sky, rain lashed against the windows, and winds shook the plane. Somewhere over the forests of Washington, Cooper calmly picked up his parachute, strapped on the cash in a bag, and walked to the rear staircase. With the roar of engines behind him and the storm in front, he jumped into the freezing night sky. By the time the plane landed hours later, Cooper was gone. Only an empty seat, a black tie, and a few fingerprints remained. The greatest manhunt in American history began. FBI agents, soldiers, and police searched the rugged forests and rivers for weeks. Helicopters scanned from above, dogs combed the terrain, but there was no trace. For years, theories grew. Some believed Cooper died instantly, swallowed by the freezing waters or torn apart by the winds. But others insisted he survived. In 1980, a young boy camping with his family near the Columbia River discovered rotting bundles of $20 bills buried in the sand, part of Cooper's ransom money. The FBI was shocked. Was this proof he drowned nearby? Or had he buried the money himself to mislead investigators? Suspects appeared over the decades. Richard McCoy, a skydiver who pulled off a nearly identical hijacking months later, was considered a prime suspect. Others pointed to Dwayne Weber, who supposedly confessed on his deathbed. But none of them could be proven. Cooper's true identity remained a mystery. Over the years, Cooper became a legend. His story inspired books, documentaries, and even Hollywood films. The FBI chased thousands of leads, tested fingerprints, and studied the ransom bills. But in 2016, after 45 years, the case was officially closed. Still, the mystery lived on. Was D.B. Cooper an unlucky criminal who died in the jump? Or was he a mastermind who escaped and lived in secret, watching as his legend grew? No body was ever found. No confirmed trace ever surfaced. Just the endless question, where is D.B. Cooper? More than 50 years later, the name still sparks curiosity, debate, and fascination. Some call him a criminal. Others call him a folk hero. But one thing is certain, when Cooper jumped into that stormy night, he didn't just disappear into the sky. He jumped straight into history. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more entertaining and eye-opening documentaries. And remember, don't try this at home.